From Ruffino's on Highland Road, welcome to the Friday edition of Live at Lunch. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Charles Handgriff, Max Gotro. Jimmy Ott remains on vacation. He'll be back with us on Monday. And Jordan Kinchin's back at Mission Control with us on Friday, Masters Friday. Enjoying the golf here at Ruffino's, the golf updates at Ruffino's. We got a big SEC weekend in baseball. LSU is at Auburn, wrapping up back-to-back road weekends, facing a former LSU pitcher. Tonight in Sam Dutton, we got quarterbacks no-show in practice in contract disputes. College quarterbacks no-show in practice in contract disputes.
Got to hold out.
You live long enough, and I guess you – I mean – the stories I never expected to report on, okay? College quarterbacks in contract disputes. I mean, I don't ever talk about pro quarterbacks going to class. So it's one of those things it's kind of backwards. And basketball players that have contracts were going to be the solution to all this, right? We just put everybody under contract. Just do what the pros do. I don't like my contract. I'm holding out. Except it's at the college level. This is at Tennessee. We'll have more on that story.
Can you cut him now?
Yeah, I would think. Sue him for breach of contract, right? I mean, shouldn't you be able to?
Not good enough, huh? Gotta cut you. Sorry.
Did you sign a contract? I mean,
yeah.
If you signed a contract, you're supposed to honor the contract. They don't. I'm talking about. Professional guys. I want a contract extension. I don't like the contract that I signed. The teams do it too. You're no longer performing to your contract. This part of it isn't guaranteed, so we're going to cut you. But what they have at the professional level is they have unions. They have a collective bargaining agreement. College doesn't have any of that. You just got kids who are essentially free agents 365 days of the year, and literally anytime that they decide, I don't like what's going on here, they just, pack up and hit the transfer portal or whatever. I was going to do this story later, but let's do it now because it's fresh on my mind. Nico.
Yamaliava.
Thank you. Did not attend Tennessee spring practice today. Has been in conversations with Tennessee about a new contract. The no-show at practice came as a surprise. This was Pete Thamel that reported this. This on the heels yesterday. This wasn't maybe as big of a story, but Baylor transfer Rob Wright. Now this is basketball. Signed with BYU and is going to visit the campus this weekend. Recently, he signed a contract to stay at Baylor for $1 million, but he reopened his recruitment after he signed the contract. And signed with BYU for $3 million. $1 million contract here. Remember, they fired Will Wade because of a damn strong offer. Now, 5 years later, but roughly 5 years later, a little over 5 years later, you have a contract signed for $1 million. Signed. Put your John Hancock right here. Sign this. We'll give you $1 million to play basketball in college. Went and actively sought another contract when he has a contract signed. So, no, I don't think that signing contracts is going to be the one thing that solves all of this, Max. Was it that I've heard that over and over again? Just make them sign a contract. Okay, they signed a contract. Didn't mean a damn thing. I assume when we're reading this story about Nico
Yamaliava.
Thank you. That if he wants a new contract, it means that somewhere, by definition, there has to be an old contract, right? That means nothing to him. Did he tell them before? This is really what you want out of your quarterback, by the way, okay? How many times have you heard me say this? And the only reason I say this is because I've heard countless ex-players say this. Most important thing in the offseason is your quarterback to lead. Now, this is mostly in the summer when they organize the workouts themselves, okay? And I've heard them say, Richard Dixon talks about this a lot when we do a post-game. He says, man, look, when Flynn was leading the off-season stuff before the 2007 season, everybody went, nobody missed. Flynn ran the show. We had a great year. The next year, well, the quarterback position was in limbo. Paraloo was leaving the team. They had a transfer coming in. It wasn't as good, and they had not a lousy season, but not anywhere near as good a season the next year. Okay, the year that Joe Burrow came in, he was still getting to know people. The 2018 season. I mean, he didn't get here until the beginning of the summer. Didn't really get here until May. Well, it was a good summer. They had a good year. But the next year, when he was really running the show all summer, well, it was a monster. Jaden Daniels got here for spring practice before his first year. He had a good year, right? The next year, now the team didn't have a great year, but he certainly did. The receivers certainly did. Everybody went in the first round. This is the exact opposite of that. This is your quarterback, the guy you want to lead, the guy you're going to count on, the guy that is going to be the face of your 2025 team saying, I'm not going to practice today because I'm not getting paid enough money.
It's unique.
How do you feel, Rocky Top, about that? I can tell you how I would feel if that was happening. If Garrett Nussmeier had pulled this, I mean, tomorrow's the last day of spring, right? It's not necessarily a game, but if he says, you know what, I'm not showing up tomorrow for practice, and you guys don't get me a new contract, I'll just get in the late portal and I'll be out of here. You know how much LSU's got invested in Garrett Nussmeier? Honestly. The whole offseason centered around him coming back. I don't know if they spend all this money in the transfer portal if he doesn't come back. Some people tell me I'm crazy. They're going to spend it regardless. I'm not certain about that.
I agree with you. I mean,
I don't know if you would have pushed all your chips into the middle on a first-year quarterback, even if it would have been Underwood. Okay?
Even if you're hungry and you feel like you got to speed things up.
Now,
you need a quarterback.
Or they would have spent the money on a quarterback. They would have gone and gotten Mateer, the kid from Washington State, who ended up at Oklahoma. But Nussmeier's obviously not going to do that. But I'm just saying, what kind of precarious position are you in? There's nothing to stop him from doing that, by the way. Garrett Nussmeier could show up at the complex tomorrow, walk into Brian Kelly's office and say, I'm out unless you double my money. There's nothing. And he can get in the transfer portal here in 3 weeks, and there ain't nothing anybody at LSU could do to stop him except pay him the money. Now, he's not doing that, okay? But Nico
Iamaleava,
thank you, is doing this to Tennessee right here in the middle of spring practice. Makes you feel good, doesn't it?
It is unique. It's different.
That's a word.
I'm not. Are we shocked though at this point that this is happening?
I like to get to the point where I say nothing shocks me, but yeah, I'm genuinely surprised here that it got to this point. Now, it would not have surprised me at all if he would have gone to Tennessee right after the season ended and said, "Look, man, you're gonna get my money here, or I'm going to Ohio State, or I'm going, wherever." But now, this is middle April. No, I'm surprised. I shouldn't be, but I am. And what about you? Got $1 million contract? Nope, I'm going to get $3 million. Okay, after you sign the contract, could you imagine if after Patrick Mahomes signed his contract with Kansas City was worth $500 million or whatever? It says, you know what? The Rams will give me $1 billion the very next day. The very next day.
Yeah, I mean, look, we publicly discuss contracts in the pros, right? And it can be a little uncomfortable when you're talking about college athletes. But I will say, On3 gives Iamaleava an evaluation of $3.1 million.
Okay.
In NIL.
What's he getting paid? Anybody knows?
We don't know.
In the NFL, the NBA, I mean, all those contracts are, pretty much public record. Right. They have to be. You have to get under the salary cap. We know what they're making. We know what they're asking for. And we proceed there. If there's any kind of dispute, the agent handles it with the team. Sometimes the union has to get involved. You remember the whole deal with Drew Brees and the franchise tags. Okay, he didn't want to be tagged more than once. Well, they had to change the rule. That was in the CBA. Okay, that's fine. Ain't no CBA. Ain't no union.
Maybe we'll get.
I would say that. Well. I would say there's no agents, but there's agents.
Yeah.
And so what agent decided to tell Nico
Iamaleava
that he shouldn't go to practice today because he wants more money? Welcome to college athletics in 2025. What's going on at the Masters? Bryson DeChambeau's chipping in from all over the place, man.
Yeah, he holes out from the bunker on 4, a very difficult par 3 today. The wind's up a little bit, but the scoring is not necessarily up so far this morning. It's supposed to get worse throughout the afternoon, and the greens were especially firm. There were a couple new greens. Apparently, they don't really publicly disclose those, but it looked like 15 was, considering some of the guys chipping in the water at the end of the round yesterday. So I think this is the time to score if you're going to do it. This afternoon with the wind getting up a little bit, baking out the greens a little bit, might be even firmer than it was yesterday. We'll see. But Bryson is 3 under through 6 holes. He's now 2 back at 6 under for the tournament of Justin Rose, who is 1 under par through 11 holes. He's going to get to a favorable stretch of 13 and 15 for scoring. So Justin Rose holding his own. I expect him to maybe dip back to the field a little bit when we haven't seen that just yet. But there's a big group at 4 under par and 3 under par behind there. Ludwig Oberg has bogeyed a couple of holes. He's now at 3 under par, tied for 7th, but he is in the fairway on the par 5 8th, which is very gettable today and a decent hole location. So we'll see. But the big move today so far, we're seeing 4 under par through 9 holes is the best round of the day so far. Rasmus Højgaard, who is a bit of a bomber. We're seeing a few more distance players play well so far today. When you look at Bryson atop the leaderboard, or not at the top, but in second place. Bryson, it's interesting, Charlie. He always seemed like a U.S. Open, PGA Championship type of player with long rough, long golf courses. And he won the U.S. Open last year, but that was a bit of a unique test in that, yeah, driving distance was certainly very important at Pinehurst number 2, but around the green play is important there. And he aced that test. I didn't expect that from knowing that golf course. I kind of thought around here, being around the greens, his long wedges that he has 1-length irons, and so he lacks a little bit of feel around the greens. I thought that would limit him at a golf course like Augusta National, and maybe he would never win one. But he is making his case that maybe he's an all-around major player, just like we used to see with Brooks Koepka,
who is not playing very well. Most of the live guys are not making a mark. DeChambeau is the exception to that. World number 1, Scotty Scheffler, is in that group at 4 under par. He tees off at 12:23 today. Sam Burns making not a charge or anything, but his form has been rough, so not a lot was expected out of him. He is 1 under today. He's even par for the golf tournament, 34th place. He's safely inside the current cut line. I say safely inside. He's 1 shot in front of the cut line. So maybe I shouldn't say safely, but he's getting there. He's through 6, so he's got a pretty good shot to make the cut here. And we'll see if he can get to some of those par 5s and maybe make a little bit of noise. The story at the end of the day yesterday, besides Justin Rose's, fantastic round, was Rory again, who was clipping right along. I thought Scott Van Pelt had a very good synopsis of that. He's like, man, everything's fine. He's going along. He's 4 under par. He's at 15, which is a very scoreable hole. And he did the same thing that Patrick Cantlay did, just maybe was it a group in front of him or maybe 2 groups in front of him? Cantlay went in the water twice, and Rory off the back of the green, chipping back, came in hot, went in the water. He makes double there, and then a wayward tee shot on 17. He makes double there, so he kind of limps home at 72 when he was 4 under par with just 4 holes to go. He's 1 under for the day, so that's 1 under for the tournament, tied for 16th place with a lot of other guys. And I got to ask you about this, man, Max. You play. There's always that nightmare round, right? That is lurking out there. Nick Dunlop, who has won on the PGA Tour
twice last year in his rookie season,
and from University of Alabama, shot 90 yesterday. It's the longest. This is the worst score at Augusta since Ben Crenshaw's final year, when Crenshaw was 63, and Crenshaw's won the event twice. He's a Hall of Famer. Dunlop had a disaster. And, when I first saw this score, I thought we were going to look down and see somewhere along there that he had made a 9 or something, or a 10, where he'd gone in the water twice or in 3 putted or something crazy like that. He had 1 triple bogey, but mostly he was just bad the whole day. That's got to be a nightmare. Justin Rose beat him by 25 strokes yesterday. I mean, it's a little bit tough. I think I give him credit for this. He went to 16 looking at high 80s at best. Okay, a lot of people would have come up with a mysterious injury at that point.
Quick WD.
I got a stomach ache. My wrist hurts. I pulled a muscle somewhere. No, he finished. God bless. Double bogey, double bogey, but he finished, and he goes out here in about 30 minutes. We're here at Ruffino's on Highland Road, the second to last Friday in Lent. If you are observing crawfish arancini today, Louisiana crawfish and asparagus risotto with Italian cheese and the vodka tomato cream, crispy Brussels sprouts with a sweet chili glaze. Entree features today include the veal piccata with lemon and caper butter sauce and capellini, pan-seared halibut. That's what Jimmy would get if he were here today. Braised mustard greens on the side. With an apricot mostardo, and the beverage features today include the Ruffino's Old Elk. That's Ruffino's exclusive hand-picked single barrel select bourbon here at Ruffino's on Highland Road. Live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Lofton Staffing Services. We match our workers with the most sought-after employers in the Baton Rouge area. It's a Lofton, you more than just another employee. We care about your interests, and we'll match you with a company that needs your skills. You can complete an application. You can schedule an interview. You can even browse jobs at lofton.jobs. Lofton also offers an unlimited $100 referral bonus. Lofton Staffing Services. We've been putting people to work since 1979. 924-0200 and lofton.jobs.
Live at lunch.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? Happy Friday. Another beautiful spring day. And if you need to come get ready for the weekend, you need to get into Rouse's, okay? It's crawfish season. You want to boil some bugs? Come pick you up a sack of crawfish or get them already boiled and you're good to go. Also, for all the Catholics out there, no meeting Friday. Well, we have an incredible deal. Guys, $9.99 for full access to the hot seafood plate, okay? You get your big styrofoam bucket. You pack that thing as full as you want. And I'm talking fried fish, etouffee, crab wonton. I mean, the selections are amazing. They're numerous and delicious, okay? And it's only $9.99 in this economy. Are you kidding me? So, whatever you need for the weekend, food, drinks, supplies, anything, get out your car and get into Rouse's.
By now, you know that we do our show every other Tuesday at the Crown Town Room at Dozy Place. The Crown Town Room is ideal for larger groups, or if you just want to watch the game on one of our 3 large TVs. The tamales are the most popular appetizer, but don't forget the seared tuna with the sriracha glaze for the perfect blend of sweet and spicy. You can't go wrong also with the flash fried oysters or the shrimp. The porterhouse is the perfect steak to share. Strip on one side, filet on the other, prepared at different temps if you like, bone in to maximize flavor. Dozy Place on Government Street, just off Acadian in the heart of Mid-City.
This is Charles Hanniger for Coastal Capital Advisors. When it comes to retirement, no two situations are alike, so Coastal Capital Advisors will tailor a plan for your family's needs, no matter your age or your financial situation. The bottom line is Coastal Capital Advisors will work with you and build a lifetime relationship. I know, because they work for me. For more information, contact Philip Fontenot and his staff at 337-981-1376 or online at coastalcapitaladv.com. Advisory services provided by New Age Advisors, LLC, doing business as Coastal Capital Advisors as a registered investment advisor. Securities offered through New Age Securities, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC.
This hour of Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny is brought to you by Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown, 343-1111 and ocbrown.com. Roto-Rooter for all your plumbing needs, 925-8710. Supreme Rice, grown, milled, processed in Louisiana since 1936. United Community Bank, the local way to bank big. Tex Morris at Edward Jones Investments on Jefferson Highway, 928-8659. Total Maintenance, your one-stop shop for AC, electrical, generators, and plumbing. Service today, every day for Total Maintenance. And Coastal Capital Advisors. Markets evolve. We adapt. The Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny Restaurant Club. Sammy's Grill on Highland Road. A hometown favorite for tailgating and watching LSU games since 1988. Louisiana Lagniappe on Perkins and Blue Bonnet. Winner of the most 225's Best of Awards. Snow Seafood and Steak for over 50 years on Airline, Highway, and Highway 74 in Gonzales. Dozy Place for hand-cut steaks on Government Street and Mid-City. Louis Cafe, a Baton Rouge landmark since 1941. Just outside the north gates of LSU. Fin Bomb, sushi, burrito, poke, ramen at Burbank and Lee. And Phil's Oyster Bar since 1950 on Government Street to now in the South Downs Shopping Center.
Since the 1930s, Supreme Rice has delighted their customers for all of your favorite South Louisiana dishes. Whether you like the brown, long...
Oh, yeah, Chris is on, by the way.
Thank you. This makes your favorite dishes even better. They even have a healthy low-glycemic rice, a great option for diabetics and those who have high insulin resistance. Supreme Rice is proud to be part of the Climate Smart program, which promotes water conservation and reduces methane emissions so future generations of Louisiana farmers can enjoy the same benefits. For more information and great recipes, find them online at supremerice.com.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona. Weekday afternoons at 3 on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge. Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny from Ruffino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Remember, you can always get the show on demand, LouisianaSports.net, also 1045ESPN.com, and the latest edition of the Handicast up on YouTube about LSU baseball as the Tigers get ready to go to Auburn. Tonight, 6 o'clock first pitch. We bring in our friend Chris Massaro, professional sports handicapper. Chris, good morning. How are you?
Charlie, Max, how you guys doing?
We're doing fantastic. Jimmy's on vacation this week, but we're doing okay. You know, for everybody, it's a little bit different, Chris, when the Final Four is in the rearview mirror. Some people, we all like the Masters. Some people take a little time off. Some people jump right into baseball real heavy. A lot of people like the NFL draft. We're big fans of the NFL draft. Our friend Dwayne Colucci is, got an eye towards Churchill Downs. What takes up most of your time once the Final Four is in there? Or the NBA playoffs start next week. What takes up your time when the Final Four is done?
Well, it was interesting. I was at the win for the championship game in the Final Four Saturday and Monday, and I was speaking with one of the guys behind the counter, and I was wondering. I was like, "Hey, are you guys going to be able to? I usually get a couple seats for the Derby or the Oaks or particular horse racing events." And I was like, you know what's crazy? It's the Derby is only 3 weeks away because now that they've pushed the Super Bowl so far back, the Final Four seems to be pushed back a little bit. They don't change the Derby. So that's the first Saturday in May every year. So horse racing does take up a lot of my time. I'm not sure if that's a good or a bad thing. But, I'm not going to be one of those people that I'm just going to all of a sudden stop betting every single night into baseball because that's not my expertise. I feel like I'm a much better handicapper college basketball-wise and, NFL, college football. But you got to be careful because, you have that itch to play games. And all of a sudden, like last night, it was kind of a, very sleepy after the Masters ended. It was a pretty sleepy sports slate, just a couple of NBA games and some hockey. So, and there was only one baseball game, and that was in a rain delay. So you got to be careful. You don't want to overextend yourself into something that you might not be that great at.
And you're right about it. It seems like everything is pushed back a little bit. It's just kind of the way the calendar fell with the Final Four, with the Monday being April 7th. It feels like everything is a little bit more compressed, and Easter's a little bit later this year, but because of the way the calendar fell. So yeah, I can see where you are. You watch the Masters at all? You into that, or is golf off your radar?
Oh, no. And I love the fact that the gambling aspect of golf has really picked up. I want to say since when they shut the world down 5 years ago, we just had, less things to bet on, and they were playing golf. And I think a lot of people like myself who always watch golf, but wasn't always into it as much because, you're not going to watch every round. You don't really care. You just want to see the final round. But when you have a little more skin in the game and there's matchups and the top 5s, top 10s, top 20s, the outrights, if you get lucky enough to hit one, it's great odds. I mean, you could bet $100 on somebody and walk away with 10,000. It happens almost not every week, but I'd say maybe half the weeks of the year. And especially when the events, when Scotty's not playing or Rory's not playing, some of these odds are just, it's perfect for the smaller better where you can bet a little and win a lot. I'm 100% into it. Right now, I played a bunch of guys pre-flop. I wasn't on Scotty because I didn't think the odds were good enough. But the way he started yesterday, he's going to be definitely tough to beat. But it's nice to see Bryson DeChambeau making a little charge, and the old guy Justin Rose, who's following up yesterday with a great round again. He's 200 today, -9 through 12. So you would figure he was going to fall back. He's not. He's kind of extended the lead, so it looks pretty good.
He would be, if he was able to hold on to this, the oldest first-time winner in the history of the Masters. He's been close before and come up just short. One of the guys that we were watching Rory yesterday. Max refuses to bet him. He just
not majors.
I understand. Okay, and Chris, he's just clipping along. He's going to 15. He's 4 under par. He's got the lead in his sights. He's going to finish up with a strong round and get out of there with a 68, maybe a 67, 69 at worst, and then double, and he gets there at 72. I don't know what you were thinking when you were watching. I was watching thinking, here we go again with Roy. He's still in, it's not like he's out of contention, but man, you go 2 double bogeys in 4 holes. That's hard to overcome.
Well, the first double is just inconceivable that he did it. I mean, everyone knows that once it's past the hole, it's going to roll off, and to him to rifle it as far as he did, and it didn't check up. He didn't have any spin on it, and the thing just rolls into the water. It's just inconceivable, especially at that point when you're tied for second. It's not like, hey, I'm going for it. I'm far back. I need to put it close, or I need to try to make it. To do that on the first round at that position in the tournament when you're tied for second after having a great round where he usually, Rory doesn't start fast. So for him to start fast, that was a great sign for him. And then to give it away in less than 30 minutes and pretty much take yourself out of contention. Everyone has seen the stats recently. You need to be top 10. Except for Tiger in 2019, if you're not in the top 10 after day one, you're not going to be the winner. So, yeah, I've been betting Rory all year because I figure it's one of those years. He's playing really well. He did it. He has a couple wins, but he is very frustrating in the Masters. He just can't get it done. He's teeing off on 9 right now, so let's see what happens.
Excuse me, Chris. We appreciate the time as always. Thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you next Friday.
All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great day.
Here at Ruffino's live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Where that came from. Just all of a sudden I got almost like I had something lodged. I didn't even take a swallow or anything. Jordan?
Top marks for selling in the greater Baton Rouge area. And then also for if you're buying,
I'm here.
Hey, just
not quite the price. It might not this condition.
Chris,
I want to change this. I want this budget for maybe, some flooring, whatever it is to try and complete the deal to make you comfortable as a buyer as well. And as investing, no doubt, never a bad time to invest in some real estate. More Property Group with Keller Williams, Red Stick Partners in Baton Rouge, 230-4242. 230-4242.
I'm good.
No, I was wondering because you was like, live at lunch. I'm like, whoa.
No, just all of a sudden, I got a catch in my throat, and I couldn't. Just apologize for me. It's never happened.
Look, I'm gonna text him for you.
That's never happened to me before. I don't know what happened there. Okay.
Offices, work sites for plumbers or welders, dual purpose, part office, part storage, climate control, shelving, lighting, using different materials, whatever you need. Give my buddy Martin Padial at Workbox a call at 343-4886, 343-4886, and workboxllc.com. Attention vehicle owners. Before you trade your transportation, let K&M Automotive give your vehicle a new lease on life with a remanufactured product from Jasper Engines and Transmissions. A Jasper remanufactured engine, transmission, or differential will extend your vehicle's life, giving you the extra cash to do the things you really enjoy. And Jasper offers a 3-year, 100,000-mile nationwide parts and labor warranty. K&M Automotive, 636-2875. That's K&M Automotive, Siegen near Perkins.
Get Moss Max and less tax during happy hour at Modesto. Join us Tuesday through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m. for $10 20-ounce margaritas and dip trio with $5 drink specials and $6 seasonal cocktails. Eat Modesto, 3930 Burbank Drive.
Pizza that's true to its hand-tossed wood-fried tradition. Roca Pizzeria is heating up its new half-off happy hour, Monday through Fridays, 3 to 6 p.m. Come enjoy 50% off margarita, pepperoni, or cheese, craft cocktails, wine by the glass, and draft beer. Roca Pizzeria, 3897 Government.
Need more space? Workbox LLC has the storage solutions you can count on. Whether you're a homeowner, commercial contractor, or industrial business, we have the space for you. Our secure, versatile storage units are ready to meet your needs. Contractors, keep your site organized and efficient. Store your materials with us and access them anytime you need. Businesses, industries of any size, Workbox LLC is your trusted partner for flexible, safe storage. Workbox 343-4886 and workboxllc.com. The new location of Los Reyes Mexican Grill on Wesley across from Mike Anderson's. Man, the place looks great. Lots of indoor and outdoor seating options with plenty of big TVs to watch all your favorite games. All of the traditional Mexican cuisine with a great happy hour, 2:30 to 6:30, 7 days a week. Plus $5 margaritas all day, all night on Wednesdays. Great spot to bring the baseball team in between games, just 5 minutes north of Traction and 5 minutes south of LSU. Los Reyes Mexican Grill, 1072 West Lee, near Nicholson.
This is Charles Hanniger for Coastal Capital Advisors, your full-service financial planners. When it comes to retirement, there are no two situations alike. So Coastal Capital Advisors will work with you, your business partners, your legal team, and tax professionals to make sure those goals are achieved. Coastal Capital Advisors will work for you. I know, because they work for me. For more information, contact Philip Fontenot and his great staff at 337-981-1376 or online at coastalcapitaladv.com. Advisory services provided by New Age Advisors, LLC, doing business as Coastal Capital Advisors as a registered investment advisor. Securities offered through New Edge Securities, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC.
This is Charles Hanniger for Home Bank. Grow your nest egg savings with a great CD rate from Home Bank. For a limited time, you can earn 4.25% annual percentage yield, and you get to choose the term. Pick 3, 7, or 11 months and get this excellent return on your savings. The minimum balance is only $2,500. It really is that simple. Stop by any South Louisiana Home Bank location and speak with a local banker today. Good for business, good for life. Home Bank, member FDIC.
When it comes to celebrating life, there's no better place than Ruffino's. With locations in Baton Rouge and Lafayette, Ruffino's is a steak, seafood, and Italian-inspired restaurant that focuses on the celebration of life, regardless of the occasion. Whether it's the food they serve or the service they provide, their goal is to ensure a remarkable experience for their guests that is always remembered. To view our menu, visit ruffinosrestaurant.com. Ruffino's, where Louisiana comes to celebrate life.
Jimmy, Charlie, and Troy. 3 best buddies sitting around talking sports bets. Let's welcome in Troy Macker from Bet Rivers.
Back here at Ruffino's live at lunch. Troy, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good, Charlie. Thanks for having me on.
All right. How did it wrap up on Monday night when all of the dust had settled and everything in Florida with the 2-point win for the championship? An exciting game, gut-wrenching if you're Houston, but how'd the numbers turn out?
Yeah, it was very, very split. 53% of the money and 56% of the tickets were on Florida to win. 53% of the money and 55% of the tickets on the Gators to cover, and 57% of the money and 56% of the tickets on the over. And I think it went under, right? Yeah, it did.
Yeah, it did.
It was close. Yeah. And, we took a hit in the futures market with Florida because, while by January they were certainly one of the best teams in the country, they weren't super thought of as being a top 10 team entering the season. So people who bought them early, could get them at 30 to 1, 50 to 1. I think we had a 60 to 1. The book did end up winning on that game, but we took a pretty big loss. I think they were the third biggest liability we had in the tournament behind Duke and Auburn.
All right, let's turn our attention to the Masters now, and I'm curious. After day one, what kind of action you guys take, because there's all kind of ways you can play this. You can go get the guy on the lead, although the first round leader rarely wins. Max, you might have a stat on that somewhere. The guy that's in the lead after the first round, although Justin Rose is off to a terrific start today. Or more money coming from golfers that are a little bit off the pace at a little bit better money. What's it like after day one of the Masters?
Yeah, well, I believe in terms of day one bets specifically, we took a loss. The public had a hold of like 34% just on day one bets. And those are, two balls, basically which of the two golfers will have a better round. 3-ball, we even do some 6-shooter stuff. And you can also do leader after round one. And I imagine part of the reason we took a loss on round one bets is because Justin Rose, who's a fairly popular golfer, certainly not top 10, but I would say top 20 in terms of routine handle and tickets. He was 65 to 1 pre-round to be the first round leader. You could get him live at 16 to 1, 10 to 1, and because he was the outright leader and he wasn't tied with anyone, there was no dead heat rule. So you got 100% of the long odds. So we did pay out some big ones there. Obviously, the futures market is the biggest one, just the outright winner or top 5, top 10. And that just keeps building because the futures leaderboard is active and updated to the minute, to the hole. So, especially with how competitive it's been thus far and keeping Scotty near the top, that does wonders for other people around that because you have to adjust the odds compared to Scotty Scheffler, who's the best golfer in the world. We also, I believe, we're updating our futures on winner without Scotty. So basically, who will be the winner, either the winner or the best finisher if you take Scotty out of it. And that's become a far more popular market as we started to add those probably the last 2 years as he's really become the dominant force in golf and the favorite to win most major.
Justin Rose is interesting right now to me, just from a laying odds standpoint. He's got a 3-stroke lead. He's 13 holes through his second round. But he's only the third choice at Bet Rivers right now. You can still get plus 480 right this second on Justin Rose, and he's got a 3-shot lead on DeChambeau and 4 shots on everybody else, and he's almost halfway home. That seems tall to me. I don't know how, Max, how you feel about that.
So I went back and looked. We gave out Rose first round leader yesterday, 66 to 1 at LouisianaSports.net. So you should have tuned in for that if you didn't. But yeah, this is his 5th first round lead he's ever had. He's at least had a share of a lead now 5 times. His 4 previous starts, I went back and looked. His 4 previous leads after the first round, he finished tied for 22nd, tied for 5th, tied for 36th, and a solo 7th. So he's finished inside the top 5 once after having the first round lead. He's got a bit of a cushion right now, but Bryson's got a 20-foot eagle putt coming up. So I don't see it long term. He just didn't come in with enough form. So I personally think he's going to fall back to the field at some point and then eventually, disappear.
Well, I'm no expert, but his form looks pretty damn good so far. I mean, he's not under par. He's got a 3-stroke lead, Troy, but you guys are obviously not seeing money pouring in on him because the odds are still pretty tall.
Yeah. And, like an hour ago, he was plus 660. So he's getting a little shorter, but not much. And again, I think that's the Scotty Scheffler effect. How much shorter can you make it when, if you're trying to get two-way action on that, or essentially not two-way, but people betting another golfer instead because there's just no value. So it's interesting, I think, in that regard where, I would love to see what Rose's top 10 live odds are, because I bet you that's far more true and accurate and less appetizing because it's probably a little bit more accurate. Even I think there's still some value plays here. Sung Jae Im at 24 to 1. Corey Connors, who had a good first round at 15 to 1. Rory's there at 15 to 1. I'll pass on that. We've seen a ton of tickets, and I saw a tweet yesterday where I believe he was through 12, and the tweet was something to do with like he was 4 under after front 9. That's his like the only time he's ever done that at Augusta or something. And then 20 minutes later, I checked, and he finished +4 over the last 4 holes.
I got like a
so
Rory
and predict Rory ended up.
Yeah,
Right.
I got like a Rory insurance policy. That's it. Just enough to where I can cash a ticket. I mean, I wasn't going, gangbusters on him, but I do have a little small ticket. So anyway, move on to MMA.
For Rory is like I can't bet Rory, but I want to watch all of it. I want to watch every one of the shots. He is, one of the most popular golfers, and if he wins, I'm never going to feel bad about not betting because I don't want to get dragged along for the emotional roller coaster that is, a clutch or an important 18 on Sunday with Rory's highs and lows. I want to watch all of Rory, but I just can't bet on him.
Yeah, he's not boring. That's for sure.
Will you'll get more money on Bryson or Scotty, you think, live going forward?
Oh, that's a really good question. Bryson was comparable to Scotty in pre-tournament handle, and I think it could be close, depending on if Scotty has a really good round today. His number's going to get so short, and Bryson's won't get that as short as Scotty's. So I could see people playing Bryson. He's been in top form the last year or so, and has become a really popular golfer and a really a heavily wagered on golfer. Since 2 years ago when he was kind of the villain of the tour.
Troy, big UFC event as well. It's a great sporting weekend. I'm really excited for this one. You got a lot of close competitive fights. The main event, Alexander Volkanovski taking on Diego Lopez. I kind of see maybe a little upset. We're seeing Diego Lopez at +125. Volkanovski toward the back end of his career, but just an incredible card. Michael Chandler, Patty Pimblett, Patty the Batty. Popular pick as well this week. How do you see it shaking out this weekend? Any plays for us?
Yeah, I got a ton of plays. So, Volk is on the backside of his career. They're fighting for the the vacant featherweight title that he held for 4 years. His peak, he was a top 3 pound for pound fighter. It's not so much that he's at the back end of his career; it's that his last 4 fights have all been against like stars and people in bigger weight classes. So now he's fighting someone who is far more on his level. I think Volk has more talent and skill than Lopez, but he is older. Lopez has power. So it's really interesting dynamic there. I do like the price on Volkanovski. I thought it was going to be a little bit longer. The fight for me is Patty Pimblett versus Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler goes out on the sword every single time. This guy wants to finish fights in 30 seconds, and he has no problem being finished. Pimblett he is taking the biggest step up of his career. If he beats Chandler, who is an elite championship level gatekeeper, Pimblett will be either in a title eliminator or a title fight. I like this one to not go the distance. It's a really long price now at -580. I'd probably even take under 2.5 rounds, or maybe go to under 3.5 rounds. This thing's not going the distance. And I think this fight is going to end with a finish. These guys do not scream decision. If it is a decision, it's a very disappointing fight. And then there's also a fight, Yair Rodriguez versus Patricio Freire. And that name's not very familiar to a lot of people. He was a longtime champion in Bellator, which is like the number 2 UFC promotion, or the number 2 mixed martial arts promotion in the world. And former Bellator fighters have not done all that well in their debut. I look back at former champions. There have been 9 of them to compete in the UFC, and all 9 lost at least one of their first 2 fights. The UFC throws them right into the ringer, and Freire was an amazing fighter 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. He is on the back end of his career, and Yair Rodriguez has really found his form after being an up-and-comer and has a lot more ways to win. That should be a really, really good fight, and I like Yair Rodriguez to win that one. I have a parlay on the Bryce Mitchell fight, the Rodriguez fight, and the Pimblett Chandler fight, all not to go the distance. That can catch you, I believe, like plus 580. So I'm hoping there's a lot of quick finishes and fight finishing sequences.
Yeah, Michael Chandler, one of the exceptions to that rule you mentioned of Bellator fighters coming up and actually winning his first fight up. But yeah, it is an intriguing card.
The second one.
Yes, he did. He did drop the second one. That's right. So, yeah, Chandler's career, it's a little surprising to me that it just hasn't really worked out, and he still gets a lot of love in the market. So I kind of think Patty the Batty gets one there. But it should be an intriguing card, and it's always smart. Troy, I feel like the UFC does a good job of kind of picking its spots. There's always good weekends. It rarely is going up against something big, and in this case, it is the Masters. But the Masters will be done. It's not a nightly primetime event.
Right. Yeah, and Paddy Pimblett, just to reemphasize, he is like the next big face of the UFC if he continues on this trajectory. And the market is showing that. Like, Chandler is a fan favorite, very Donald Cerrone type. He's going to fight for the finish every time. He doesn't care if he gets knocked out. Pimblett right now, 13% of total UFC handle for this weekend is on Pimblett to win, and 9% of all tickets is on Pimblett to win. The second most popular is Lopez to beat Volkanovski, and that's at 6%. So, 9% of the tickets are on Pimblett. People love him. He's charismatic. He has ways to finish fights, but he is going up against a tall task. So this is, forget the betting aspect. This is just really fascinating fight between, two finishers who are high-level entertainers in, a co-main position where I think this is going to be the fight of the weekend.
Yeah, you mentioned Paddy Pimblett, Michael Chandler, under rounds. We're seeing at Bet Rivers under 2.5, minus 137. So I guess that's a decent play from you. Huh?
Yeah. Even though I believe both have gone over 2.5 rounds in each of their last or two of their last three fights, but still, I believe two of them were kind of ugly fight decisions. But I just think these guys, that they want to entertain, and even if it's for 45 seconds or a minute and 30 seconds, these guys are going to entertain the entire time. There will be, I think, there will be very limited feeling out process, or at least I'm hoping.
Troy, we appreciate the time. We'll talk to you on Monday. We'll have some NBA play-in stuff that is set. The Masters will be behind us, but we'll be inside of 2 weeks. We actually inside of 2 weeks now, the NFL draft, so we'll get into some of those numbers as Bet Rivers posts them. Have a great weekend, buddy, and we'll talk to you next Monday.
You do the same. Thanks, guys.
We're brought to you by the Thibodaux Store. Thibodaux Store at 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodaux. Right now, if you're getting the yard, the garden, the flower beds are in getting them in shape right now, up to 55% off of select lawn and garden items at the website, doitbest.com/Thibodaux Store. Your potting and your topsoils, your spreaders, your seeders, your grass, and weed control, up to 55% off of a lot. And a lot of these things are available for delivery. 40% off of hoses, $40 off of all of your pressure washers, patio furniture, also on special right now on the website, wheelbarrows, garden tools, pretty much everything you're going to need to get your yard in shape. Also, Cajun Cooking Specialty cookware shipped right to your door. Again, on the website, it's doitbest.com/Thibodaux Store. All of your Cajun cookware and all of the accessories. Also, a large selection of grills and the Big Green Egg cookers are available at the Thibodaux Store. They do key cutting, they do paint matching, they do propane services, screen and glass repair, and their experts can walk you through any project. Thibodaux Store, 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodaux. The sister property, the Pierre Part Store, and online it's doitbest.com/Thibodaux Store. Live at Ruffino's, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Don't forget our friends at Total Diamond Performance. That's right. The Total Diamond Performance summer baseball and softball skills camps, 2-day, 3-day, 4-day options. Camp format allows players to receive detailed instruction on all facets of the game that will assist them in becoming the total baseball player. Contact Nick Schneider at nick@tdpbaseball.com to register today. Total Diamond Performance summer baseball and softball skill camps to accommodate your schedule, 2-day, 3-day, and 4-day options.
Live at lunch.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? T-Bob hanging out here at Rouse's on this Friday. And remember, it is crawfish season, meaning if you want to buy some bugs to burrow them yourself or buy them already burrowed, you want to get into Rouse's. We got the best prices, the best bugs. But check this out. So I'm here off of Burbank Lee. I'm sitting right here out front. When you walk up to the store, you're going to smell something delicious. You know what that is? Some delicious ribs being smoked. A full slab of ribs. Full slab, $11.99. How about this? Sausage on a bun, only $2.99. Or if you're Catholic, you want seafood, I get it. Go inside for $9.99. They got the seafood hot bar where you get a styrofoam box and you pack that thing full of whatever you want, and then you feast. You know why? Because Rouse's gets it. We got the best deals. the best products, the best people. And we're Louisiana from the original brick up. How about some USDA prime beef boneless top sirloin steak? Only $6.97 a pound. You're saving $5 a pound. Get it at Rouse's.
Baseball and softball players of all levels get the competitive edge you've been looking for at Total Diamond Performance. Do the same lessons, camps, classes, and clinics used by top college and MLB organizations. Everything from mental performance, in-game video, and data analysis to improve pitching, throwing velocity, bat speed, and fielding. Total Diamond Performance is tailored around the individual player to build strength and athleticism while also cleaning up mechanical deficiencies. Matt Mastretta applies what he's learned working in player development with college and MLB teams. Total Diamond Performance, 931-3730. That's 931-3730.
This is Charles Haniger for Total Maintenance. Now is the time to get your AC cleaned and checked before those sweltering temperatures arrive. Ensure your unit is performing at max efficiency, lower your monthly bills, and prolong the life of your central air conditioner. Right now, mention my name or Jimmy Ott and get $100 off that service. Down from $179 to $79. Call Total Maintenance for generators, electricity, and plumbing issues. In Baton Rouge, 480-1000, and in New Orleans, call 841-3300. Service today, every day at Total Maintenance.
Go Automotive has a great selection of new cars: Chevy, GMC, Hummer, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. You rather a pre-owned vehicle? Using our resources will help find you any vehicle that you're looking for. Our service department offers VIP service. You never have to come to the dealership. We'll pick up the vehicle at your home or office, drop off a loaner, service the vehicle, and return it when it's done. Mention my name, Jimmy Ott, for VIP pricing. The Chevy Tahoe I drive came from Go Automotive. That's Go Automotive in LaPlace and Plaquemine. The new go-to pizza joint in downtown Baton Rouge is Town Square Pizza. Town Square Pizza, located on North Boulevard across from the courthouse, is the perfect in-and-out destination when grabbing a quick workday lunch or visiting local attractions on the weekend. Town Square Pizza, you guessed it, square pizzas are consistently flavored and cooked perfectly every single time. It's as simple as that. Town Square Pizza, downtown next to Jolie Pearl. If you're near the north side of campus, I need to remind you about a couple of longtime favorites. Highland Coffee is the original specialty coffee shop in Baton Rouge since the 1980s. My personal favorite. Love getting my cappuccino from their friendly, knowledgeable staff. Roasted right in the shop. Louis Cafe for breakfast and lunch 7 days a week. The Mitchell omelet, Cajun hash browns, Big Cheesy Lou, all served up in that famous open kitchen atmosphere. In Tigertown since 1941. A couple of great spots. Highland Coffees and Louis Cafe just outside the north gates of LSU.
ALS is a progressive and neurodegenerative disease, and we need your help to find a cure. The mission of the ALS Association, Louisiana, Mississippi chapter, is to discover treatments and a cure for ALS, and to serve, advocate for, and empower people affected by ALS to live their lives to the fullest. Whether you are newly diagnosed, a military veteran, a caregiver, or someone looking to learn more about how to navigate living with ALS, they can help. Visit als.org to learn more. That's als.org.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Ruffino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Back here at Ruffino's, Max, a little update. Justin Rose with a bogey, so he's back to 8 under par. He's 1 under for the day. One shot ahead of Bryson DeChambeau. This was a 3-stroke lead. Just as soon as I mentioned that you were getting good odds on Justin Rose, it immediately went with the bogey.
Yeah, a little sloppy.
As soon as I said something, DeChambeau at 7 under. Matt McCarty's having an interesting round. You had him. You put this on Autolocks yesterday. One of his heads-up matchups.
Oh, I just sent that to you.
Oh, okay.
Right.
I thought you put it on Autolocks.
Okay.
But he starts out today double bogey, but now he's got 7 birdies in 10 holes, and all of a sudden he's in third place at 5 under par.
Yeah, 3 over through 2 holes. I'd kind of chalked that one up as a loss already. But, 7 birdies down the stretch for a guy who, look, he won in the fall events. The PGA Tour has some fall events. They're lesser. That's how I think he's in this field. He was a Korn Ferry Tour Player of the Year last year, so this is a rookie season. And he hit the ball excellent. He might have led the field in strokes gained approach yesterday. Had a bit of a cold putter. That's why I played him today. But he is following it up outstandingly. I don't know if come moving day tomorrow that he's going to stick around, but it's certainly notable because the way in which he's doing it seems somewhat sustainable. It's not like he's just putting the lights out. And that's why ultimately I think Justin Rose, who putted very, very, very well yesterday, is not going to be able to actually put on a green jacket by the end of the week. But we'll see. I mean, he's held it longer than I expected. But certainly, you look at the leaderboard right now. Bryson 1 back, Scotty Scheffler yet to play 4 back. It seems like if they're a 2 clear-cut favorites, I think right now I would probably take those 2 over the field at this point. And that might seem early, but I would probably take Bryson or Scotty versus the field.
Scotty Scheffler is so good that he is still a strong favorite here, 4 shots off the lead.
Well,
is there anybody? I mean,
he hasn't gone off yet, so that can be a little misleading.
Okay.
Now the conditions are supposed to be harder this afternoon.
He goes out and pars the first 3 holes. He's not going to do anything but go down.
And for what it's worth, I kind of thought he'd run away with the Houston Open. I know he finished runner-up, but he got off to a great start right out of the gates, and it felt like he might just put it away, but he did not. So we'll see.
Hour number 2 straight ahead here at Ruffino's Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at Lunch.
This is Charles Haniger for Total Maintenance. Now is the time to get your AC cleaned and checked before those sweltering temperatures arrive. Ensure your unit is performing at max efficiency, lower your monthly bills, and prolong the life of your central air conditioner. Right now, mention my name or Jimmy Ott and get $100 off that service. Down from $179 to $79. Call Total Maintenance for generators, electricity, and plumbing issues. In Baton Rouge, 480-1000, and in New Orleans, call 841-3300. Service today, every day at Total Maintenance. Since the 1930s, Supreme Rice has delighted their customers for all of your favorite South Louisiana dishes. Whether you like the brown, long grain, medium grain, jasmine, or the new parboiled rice, Supreme Rice makes your favorite dishes even better. They even have a healthy low glycemic rice, a great option for diabetics and those who have high insulin resistance. Supreme Rice is proud to be part of the Climate Smart program, which promotes water conservation and reduces methane emissions so future generations of Louisiana farmers can enjoy the same benefits. For more information and great recipes, find them online at supremerice.com.
Now, everybody's been to Louis Cafe by campus. Heck, it's been around since over 80 years now. We're still doing delicious omelets like the Mitchell, cheesy grits, big cheesy Lou, and those Louis Original Cajun hash browns. We now offer a pickup window. Just call in your order at 346-8221. Give us 15 or 20 minutes. We'll have it ready for you. Our hours are now 6:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m., 7 days a week. So next time you visit campus, make it a point to stop by and visit an old friend. Louis Cafe, just outside the north gates of LSU. Sammy's Grill on Highland Road since 1988. A hometown favorite for tailgating and watching LSU games in a casual atmosphere with the friendliest service. Right now, we're boiling crawfish 7 days a week. Monday through Friday, first batch comes out at 5 p.m. Weekends at noon. Sammy serves a wide mix of authentic Louisiana food prepared to order with the best ingredients available. Fresh Louisiana seafood, Cajun favorites, burgers, and po' boys, all built from scratch. Our kids' menu and popular appetizers are sure to please the pickiest of eaters. Sammy's Grill on Highland Road near Starring since 1988. By now, you know that we do our show every other Tuesday at the Crown Town Room at Dozy Place. The Crown Town Room is ideal for larger groups, or if you just want to watch the game on one of our 3 large TVs. The tamales are the most popular appetizer, but don't forget the seared tuna with the sriracha glaze for the perfect blend of sweet and spicy. You can't go wrong also with the flash fried oysters or the shrimp. The porterhouse is the perfect steak to share. Strip on one side, filet on the other, prepared at different temps if you like, bone in to maximize flavor. Dozy Place on Government Street, just off Acadian in the heart of Mid-City.
This is Charles Haniger for Coastal Capital Advisors. When it comes to retirement, no two situations are alike, so Coastal Capital Advisors will tailor a plan for your family's needs, no matter your age or your financial situation. The bottom line is Coastal Capital Advisors will work with you and build a lifetime relationship. I know, because they work for me. For more information, contact Philip Fontenot and his staff at 337-981-1376 or online at coastalcapitaladv.com. Advisory services provided by New Age Advisors, LLC, doing business as Coastal Capital Advisors as a registered investment advisor. Securities offered through New Age Securities, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC.
This hour of Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny is brought to you by Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown, 343-1111 and ocbrown.com. Roto-Rooter for all your plumbing needs, 925-8710. Supreme Rice, grown, milled, processed in Louisiana since 1936. United Community Bank, the local way to bank big. Tex Morris at Edward Jones Investments on Jefferson Highway, 928-8659. Total Maintenance, your one-stop shop for AC, electrical, generators, and plumbing. Service today, every day for Total Maintenance and Coastal Capital Advisors. Markets evolve. We adapt.
Power outages are unpredictable, so stay ready with a Generac home standby generator from Boudreaux's Electrical Services. Trusted in South Louisiana, we provide expert installation and service. Call 225-300-9389 or visit boudreauxelectrical.com.
Insurance companies have teams of professionals to fight your claim. If you want to know what your case is really worth, I'm Spencer Callahan. I'd like to help.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
LA filing number 16-7970.
WNXX Jackson, KNXX Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers. LA 21 12681. Offices in Baton Rouge. He's out there somewhere in the world. Maybe even your local sports book.
Can anybody help us?
Let's bring in Bruce Marshall.
And we do bring in Bruce Marshall to join us here at Ruffino's, where the appetizer features today include the crawfish arancini with Louisiana crawfish and asparagus risotto, Italian cheese and vodka tomato cream, crispy Brussels sprouts with sweet chili glaze. Those are your appetizer features today. Entree features include the veal piccata, veal medallions with the lemon and caper butter sauce, capellini, pan-seared halibut with braised mustard greens and apricot mustardo on the side, and Ruffino's Old Elk today. The beverage feature, Ruffino's exclusive hand-picked single-barrel select bourbon here at Ruffino's on Highland Road. Bruce, good afternoon. How are you?
I am doing better, but my question for today is about my knee here. You do rehab, and you go to these the rehab center, and they give you illustrations and pictures of how to do these exercises and all. But the pictures are all of like guys in their 20s, and I say, you need to have one of these for guys in their 60s. I'm not going to be an Olympic downhill skier. I just want to be able to walk around the block. You got me doing stuff that I can't. So anyway, that's what's been preoccupying my mind this week.
As somebody who's had hip replacement surgery, I can understand where you're coming from. Are you going to be ready for training camp? That's really all we need to know. Are you going to be you're ready for contact on the first day?
No.
No. Well, that's honest. That's honest anyway. Bruce, how'd you come out on the Final Four as we kind of put that to bed on Monday night?
Yeah, Florida was. They made it a little hairy there in the end. I did a money line on Monday night because I think I was kind of tight, but that was quite something there. And the way they really just grabbed a hold of that game in the second half. They looked like they were really out on their feet there. But that defense, I don't know, in the last Houston did make some shots down the stretch, but none of them were easy. I mean, I don't think they had an easy shot the last 15 minutes of the game. So Florida's defense really turned things around, and that was well-deserved. Felt bad for Houston. Interestingly, of those teams in the Final Four, if you just read all the stuff about looking to next year, I mean, Houston's got a top-flight recruiting class coming in. They already got Pop Isaacs out of the portal. He was hurt most of his last year at Creighton, but we know what he could do. So they might actually have the best chance of those four to get back. Florida won't be the same next year. All those guards are gone, so it's going to be that. This is sort of the way it is in college hoops, and I've been following the portal here now, and all these changes. I mean, there's new guys coming in there every day. Year to year, it's different. We won't see the same Duke next year. That's a once-in-a-decade team they have. The Boozer twins are good. They're not as good as Cooper Flagg and Malowach and Kneipel, though. So it just changes from year to year so much. So that's the one thing. Kind of enjoy it while you can, but it'll look different next year.
Bruce, let me ask you about Texas A&M's hire of Bucky McMillan from Samford. We've seen in the last approximately a year, a little under a year actually, Texas A&M, with all the money in the world, starting to lose coaches that they want. The first one was a baseball coach, and Jim Schlossnagle, who went to Texas. Then Buzz Williams. They didn't want Buzz Williams to leave, but he left for a job at Maryland. Then they wanted to hire Chris Beard, who politely declined, got a counteroffer from Ole Miss. But, you would think that Chris Beard, of all people, who would probably love to stick it back to Texas, would have taken a job with more resources, or at least conceivably more resources in Texas A&M. But no, and I don't know a whole lot about Bucky McMillan other than, what I've read on his resume. He was at Samford. He was a very successful high school coach before that. But splash hire, it ain't. And I'm just curious your thoughts about the A&M athletic department at the moment.
Yeah, good points there, Charlie. And I think really, A&M got caught kind of by surprise from what I'm hearing that Beard said no. They were fully expecting him to come on board and jump back in, and that shook them a little bit. So their plan B, it took them a while to sort of formulate that. Now, we've heard McMillan's name for a few years now. Like you said, he had a lot of success there in the Birmingham area and in Alabama high school basketball, a lot of success. Transferred that over to Samford. They've been good, improved, not great, but they've been pretty good. But we had heard his name as a coach on the way up, but he has spent almost all of the last many years, most of his career in that little area right there around Birmingham, because that's where Samford is too. His teams play a very attractive style. This is everything that the fan base wants to hear. Up tempo, shoot a lot of threes, aggressive. Force the defense will be aggressive and push the pace. But this was not their first choice. And one other thing about McMillan, he could bring his top two scorers with him. But a lot of these guys who make the move like that, like McCollum did last year, he came up from 1AA last year into Drake, but you bring a lot of your guys with you. He doesn't have a lot of guys he's going to be able to bring with him from Samford. And there's not a lot left at Texas A&M. And Buzz, by the way, the one who is coming back, Pharrell Payne, he took with him to Maryland. So they better be prepared to bite the bullet there for a little bit at Texas A&M. But you're right, he wasn't their first choice. And it's got to be a little slap in the face to them because, here they go again. In the football, we saw it again with Jimbo. They thought that was going to work. We'll see, and they've moved on from Jimbo there. And how Elko is going to do down the road, but another slap in the face for A&M, and they're probably getting tired of it.
I think I'd have a few questions for my athletic director if I were the president there, but we'll see how it goes. Got to get your thoughts on this story that broke this morning. Tennessee quarterback Nico
Iamaleava,
thank you, has decided that he's going to hold out for a new contract. Now, we got a few more details on this. He was scheduled to make, and apparently has a contract somewhere, for $2.4 million. He wants $4 million. And so he decided to skip practice today, and this caught Tennessee completely by surprise, and they're more than a little steamed about it. I looked back last year. Tennessee was a playoff team, Bruce. Nico was the 10th best quarterback statistically in the Southeastern Conference. 5 of those guys have moved on, but you're still at best the 5th best returning quarterback in the conference. He had slightly more yards than Michael Van Buren at Mississippi State, who LSU brought in to be a backup. And there's at least 2 or 3 guys I see that were below him last year that I'd rather have. I'm just wondering what you think. Is this guy that good? Is he worth $4 million a year? Because I didn't see $4 million a year worth last year.
I agree with you, and sort of a novel concept to Nico's connections here and his agents. Maybe Nico's not that good, and good, not that great. And I just wonder also about these nil deals, and I've been trying to research a lot of this stuff and how it works. One year to the next, can you just is it multi-years they're paying these guys? Do you have to if you don't, do you renegotiate it? There's a lot of gray area in there, but I totally agree with you. I don't think Nico's as good as Joe Milton was. I don't think he's as good as Hendon Hooker was. I thought they got kind of fortunate to get in the playoff last year. They didn't even show up against Ohio State in that game at Columbus. So good, not great. It's a lot of nerve on his agent's part. I think they might think they got Tennessee over a barrel here, but they are opening. The portal does open up here after spring, so maybe there's another quarterback they could get. So it's like a game of cat and mouse that they're trying to play, or a game of chicken, really. They're trying to play with Tennessee to force, thinking they've got Tennessee backed into a corner. I don't know. There's so much going on with the nil stuff now, and the new NC2A stuff, and some of the nil. From what I gather, nil can still exist outside of these. The schools bringing the nils in house. But it's as this thing evolves, I kind of don't like to see these players playing hardball like this. And maybe they have the right to do that, but something just doesn't seem right here. And that's the other thing. I mean, he's got a team he's got to come back and lead too, just from a team standpoint here. And his teammates can be looking around and, he's kind of, holding them all hostage here. That can't be good for the locker room, I don't think. We'll see. But I just don't think there are many positives to come out of this, at least on the field for Tennessee. But we'll find out how it plays out.
There's really not, and he's got like I said, a contract. I've heard that over and over again, and I even kind of bought into it that if you sign these players to contract and you held them to contract, I mean, you can sue them, I guess, but that would largely solve a lot of this. Well, Baylor's got a basketball player named Rob Wright who had a $1 million contract to remain at Baylor. With that in hand, went to Provo, Utah, and signed a $3 million deal with BYU. So I don't know what the contract at Baylor is going to turn out, if they're going to sue him for breach of contract or whatever. But the contract didn't seem to make a difference in that case, and it doesn't seem to make a difference here. Now, let me give you an either or. Who would you take? Would you take Nico if you had to? Quarterback at Tennessee next year, would you take Nico or would you take Diego Pavia from Vanderbilt last year?
Diego Pavia.
Okay. Would you take DJ Lagway from Florida or Nico?
DJ Lagway.
Would you take Jackson Arnold, who was at Oklahoma and is now at Auburn? This is a little bit tougher. I'm just going to the quarterbacks that ranked right behind him in total yards per game last year. Would you take Jackson Arnold or Nico?
Jackson Arnold.
That one's a little bit tougher for me. I'm not a big Jackson Arnold fan, but I see Lenoris Sellers from South Carolina, who was just in front of Nico last year by about 10 yards a game.
Lenoris Sellers, I would take. By the way, Arnold, I did see one of his best half of the year he played when I was at that Ole Miss game last year. So the one time I saw him in person, I didn't look that bad. I know he's the questionable one. All those other guys I'd take over Nico and Asampa.
And I'm going to throw you two more names. Taylon Green from Arkansas averaged about 40 yards more per game. And I know yards per game is not the only deciding stat, but Green's touchdown interceptions numbers were, not quite as good, but yards per game. Taylon Green at Arkansas or Nico?
That's about a toss-up for me, but I've
yeah.
been on this anti-Nico run. I'll take Taylon Green, though,
Yeah.
if I had to push come to shove.
And then the other two quarterbacks that were in front of him last year that are coming back are Carson Beck, who ended up at Miami and apparently is having a hard time hanging on to his cars, and Garrett Nussmeier at LSU, and that's kind of a no-brainer. So you're looking at, I think, optimistically, the fifth or sixth best quarterback in the league, and he wants $4 million a year, and he's willing to hold out to do it in the middle of April. If I were a Vol fan, I'd be pretty aggravated right this second with Nico.
I agree with you. And by the way, I don't feel bad for Carson Beck having his Lamborghini stolen. What's he doing with the Lamborghini? And you don't care how. But it's funny. I just we went out to a bagel this morning, and there was a guy with a Tennessee shirt walking in. I mean, this guy had orange shoes, and I brought this up to him, and he just shook his head, and he was furious. He said, "I can't believe Nico's doing this." And it's like, I would guarantee you, the whole Vol fan base feels like this guy right now. He has turned Orange Nation against himself in one day, unless he reverses really quick. He's going to be the most unpopular guy in Knoxville.
Which is bad enough that the fan base will be aggravated with you, or that your coaches will be aggravated with you, or the administration will be aggravated with you. But what about your teammates? That to me is the biggest thing. Do you lose the locker room over this? And this was exactly when NIL came in. There are going to be jealousy issues because these kids are a lot younger than professional athletes that have similar locker room jealousies, but they're men, they're grown men, they have families, so they take care of it. These are they're young men, but they're still essentially kids. Do you lose the locker room over something like this?
You certainly could. That's a very good point, Charlie. I go back, a few years ago when the NIL was really starting, and I was at an ACC media day when Mac Brown was still at North Carolina. And right when he still had Sam Howell there for his senior year, and they had just started this stuff. And that's the first thing Mac Brown talked about. He said, I know this NIL stuff. He said, it's coming. He said, but the problem is going to be, he said, within the locker room, he said, the first thing is you got to, you're going to have some guys making a lot more money than others. He said, that's like the first issue for coach and another thing you got to deal with here. You're going to have jealousies in the locker room. And I can only imagine now that's magnified about 10 times now with the money that Nico's talking about and what's going on in Tennessee. So very much so. I mean, he's got a lot of people that he's alienating, including his guys in the locker room. And that's one that could be hard fences to mend.
Yeah, and on the other hand, you see in some cases where players are staying an extra year in college because they're making more money than they would if they would go pro. It's like the opposite. If I had the time machine and I was in 2015 and I forwarded to now, what would surprise 2015 me the most is that, oh, well, you got college quarterbacks that are holding out for bigger contracts. Oh, really? 2015 me would have had a hard time believing that, but that's where we are. Anyway, Bruce, we always appreciate the time. Next week we'll be talking. We'll be getting very close to the NFL draft, and the NBA playoffs will be starting. So we'll talk then. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Have a good weekend, Charlie. Thank you.
Bruce Marshall checking in with us from out in Las Vegas. We're brought to you by Louisiana Health and Injury Centers, helping you deal with pain. Dr. Michael Goff and his staff done a great job for our family. So if you got back pain, muscle soreness, neck pain, things that are keeping you from maybe moving around as well as you want to, or maybe costing you a good night's sleep, let them help you out. They can target those problem areas, get you to feeling better, whether the exercise and stretching programs that they do there or the adjustments that they can handle with for you, the dry needling, the electric nerve stimulation, cryo, ultrasound therapy. They'll figure out what the best course of action is for you, and they'll get you to feeling better. Airline Highway, Plank Road, Jefferson Highway near Drusilla, Dr. Michael Goff, Louisiana Health and Injury Centers. We'll take a break and be back here at Ruffino's Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Don't forget our friends at Legacy Title. Chad Reynolds, Legacy Title for all your real estate closings, 296-0060. Full-service title company servicing all of South Louisiana. Fast, friendly, professional services, which you get every time you call 296-0060. Ashley Bonham-Donald, Mariana Broussard-Haynes, Adrian Reese-Galata, Michael Platt, and Natalie and Bradford Smith. Buying, building, refinancing, nobody chooses you but you. Chad Reynolds, Legacy Title, 296-0060.
Live at Lunch.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? T-Bob here, hanging out the Rouses off of Burbank and Lee. Hope you're having a wonderful Friday. I am currently basking in the delicious smell of smoked ribs and sausages. That could be you too, okay? You want a little treat this Friday afternoon? Come out here to Rouses. For $11.99, you get a full slab of ribs, guys. For $2.99, you get sausage on a bun. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Maybe you're Catholic, though. You're trying to avoid meat on Fridays. Well, guess what? We got deals for you, too. Go inside, grab yourself a hot plate, $9.99, and you get a styrofoam box to fill up with all the seafood that your heart can desire. And on a beautiful spring weekend like this, what is better than some crawfish? Nothing. And you can get all your bugs here already boiled, or you can boil them yourself, and all the fixings, everything you need at the best prices, the best products right here at Rouse's.
This is Charles Hanniger for Coastal Capital Advisors. When it comes to retirement, no two situations are alike, so Coastal Capital Advisors will tailor a plan for your family's needs, no matter your age or your financial situation. The bottom line is Coastal Capital Advisors will work with you and build a lifetime relationship. I know, because they work for me. For more information, contact Philip Fontenot and his staff at 337-981-1376 or online at coastalcapitaladv.com. Advisory services provided by New Age Advisors, LLC, doing business as Coastal Capital Advisors as a registered investment advisor. Securities offered through New Age Securities, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC.
We're here to examine things that get better with age, like this bottle of Chateau Lafite Rothschild, vintage 1877. Age can make things more valuable, like this Picasso from his Blue Period, 1904. And treasured, like this Roto-Rooter jingle, 1954.
Roto-Rooter jingle?
Just listen to it.
Oh, Roto-Rooter, that's the name. And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
A timeless melody.
Roto-Rooter?
The lithe arrangement.
But it's a clog-busting company.
Wrong there. Roto-Rooter has grown into more than a clog-busting company. They're North America's largest full-service plumber and drain cleaner. And when you need Roto-Rooter, remembering this jingle can be priceless.
Roto-Rooter.
For all of your plumbing and drainage solutions, call Roto-Rooter in Baton Rouge at 925-8710. That's 925-8710. Baseball and softball players of all levels get the competitive edge you've been looking for at Total Diamond Performance. Do the same lessons, camps, classes, and clinics used by top college and MLB organizations. Everything from mental performance, in-game video, and data analysis to improve pitching, throwing velocity, bat speed, and fielding. Total Diamond Performance is tailored around the individual player to build strength and athleticism while also cleaning up mechanical deficiencies. Matt Mastretta applies what he's learned working in player development with college and MLB teams. Total Diamond Performance, 931-3730. That's 931-3730.
This hour of Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny is brought to you by Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown, 343-1111, and ocbrown.com. Roto-Rooter for all your plumbing needs, 925-8710. Supreme Rice, grown, milled, processed in Louisiana since 1936. United Community Bank, the local way to bank big. Tex Morris at Edward Jones Investments on Jefferson Highway, 928-8659. Total Maintenance, your one-stop shop for AC, electrical, generators, and plumbing. Service today, every day for Total Maintenance. And Coastal Capital Advisors. Markets evolve. We adapt. Tigers, Saints, Southeastern Conference, all in one place. LouisianaSports.net. No paywalls, no article limits. It's just the coverage the Louisiana sports fans want. Bookmark it today. LouisianaSports.net. 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge. Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny from Ruffino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
LSU and Auburn tonight from the Plains. 6 o'clock tonight, 6 o'clock tomorrow, 2 o'clock on Sunday. LSU coming in off of the sweep of Oklahoma last weekend. They're going to see Sam Dutton tonight. We saw Sam Dutton here at LSU for couple of seasons, made a number of starts. In fact, he was a starter in the last game of the regional last year. Actually started in the regional back in 2022 as well. Didn't have a good outing in the regional. Will Helmers had to come on and kind of rescue him there a little bit before they came up just a little bit short. But Dutton has gotten off to a terrific start as a Friday night guy over at Auburn. 4-2 on the year, 2.66 ERA and 8 starts, 51 strikeouts, 10 walks. Auburn is 3-1 in the games that he has started. He's been kind of a home and away thing for them. In 2 of the starts at home, he was really, really good. The 2 starts against Georgia and Kentucky, not as good. Gave up 8 runs in 9 in the third innings against those 2 teams. But what we're really watching tonight is this is the first start for Kyle Anderson since throwing 135 pitches. Now, he's had 8 days, but he's never thrown that many pitches before. That masterpiece last Thursday night up in Norman was fantastic. But, Max, what did we talk about last Friday? The questions were going to come. Was he in the game too long, and is it going to affect? It didn't affect him in that game. His velocity was barely down in the 9th inning. He was down maybe 1-2 miles an hour at the most. The breaking ball was still swing and miss, and he was completely dominating Oklahoma. It was only a 2-run game, too. So the question was, you could have gone to Case and Evans. You could have gone to Zach Cowan. Those guys have been absolutely fantastic out of the bullpen. But he decided to stay with Anderson, and they get home, and he throws a complete game shutout. How does it affect him a week later? And that's what we're going to be watching mostly here tonight.
And sometimes you don't see it instantly. Sometimes it might take a month before you kind of see maybe you wore him out. So we might not instantly see results tonight, but I do find it a little interesting. Facing a former LSU Tiger and Dutton, who, look, his numbers are pretty good. I will say his opposing batting average is .258, which is not elite. It's not outstanding. You mentioned he's a lot better at home, so that concerns me a little bit. We'll see. The wind is blowing slightly out, 8 to 9 miles an hour to center. I kind of think we might see some runs in this one, just because it's going to be tough for Cade Anderson to follow that up once again. So we're seeing a total of 13.5. I might would lean over on that one, but I like LSU tonight, to be honest. I like them in this series, and we'll see if they can keep things going. But I am very curious to see what Cade Anderson does tonight.
They don't need, as we've seen, they don't have to have 7 or 8 innings out of Anderson. They've got plenty enough bullpen that if he got them 5 good ones, and that was why it was such a step up last week. He'd been a 5 into the 6th inning guy for the entire season up to that point. And again, 2 years off of the Tommy John surgery, you're building it back, and he was up there around 90 to 100 pitches. And I thought, well, okay, they get him through 7. They're going to feel really good about that. That's the next step. And then they left him in and he kept going. So it's okay. He's not losing command. He's not losing velocity. All right, we're good. The last question is going to be, can you can you sustain it? Is that going to be something? And Jay Johnson was very candid after the game. He said, hey, listen, we feel like he's capable of this pitch count load, and not for nothing, but he gets an extra day to recover. And they did actually in the Advocate a really nice piece this morning about what that extra recovery day entailed, because usually they're lifting weights the day after their start. So that's the thing we're going to be watching tonight. What did you think of Dutton when he was here?
He's fine. He's good. That's fine.
That's what I thought too. He was okay. He wasn't, he wasn't unbelievable. He wasn't, he wasn't terrible. There was some flash there, but I thought of him as more of a short range pitcher. I never thought of him as somebody that would go as deep into the games. So that was it was a little bit of a surprise to me that he's the Friday night guy, but he's done a nice job. So for LSU, get out there and make him throw some pitches, because one of the things is that Auburn does not have a extremely deep bullpen. Their Saturday starter, Cade Fisher's only thrown 20 innings in his 7th start. You might remember him from back at Florida. He was in that national title series. He pitched a couple of times in that. But if you can get past, they don't have a Sunday starter listed, so it's it's TBA. So a lot like last week. Somewhat like last week. I thought last week that the first game, a little bit of an edge to Oklahoma just for being at home. The two pitchers were pretty equal, but I thought the pitching matchups really favored LSU on games 2 and 3. I feel way more confident about LSU's pitching matchups in games 2 and 3, and that's without. Certainly, I don't expect Cade Anderson to go the route again. I mean, if he throws 6 innings tonight and throws 95 pitches, that's plenty. That's kind of where I'd like to see him tonight.
Yeah, I agree, and the lack of bullpen is certainly going to be part of this series unless Auburn just elevates that somehow. LSU slight favorite, -188 tonight to get the win. This will probably be the closest, you think, though, of all the games in terms of the line? At least it should be.
I think it is. I think this is Auburn's. This is the best arm that they've got to throw out there, and certainly everybody on this staff is. Everybody in this lineup. Pretty much, I guess not Curiel, but pretty much everybody else has seen him. They know. Good pitcher. Throws a lot of strikes. That was the other thing I should have said. He doesn't walk very many guys. So he's going to be in the zone. Swing the bats.
Yeah, LSU, second right now in the conference in batting average. Auburn's 5th. They can hit the ball. They're not a really home run heavy team, despite their park. Their park's pretty hitter friendly, right?
They just redid it. It's been a while since I've been there. You got the big wall and the short, the short dimensions in left field. So the right-handed power hitters, have an advantage there. I haven't seen it since they did the renovation. So I got we were talking before the show. I haven't seen Auburn play a baseball game yet this year, so this is going to be a little bit.
I'm curious to see. Just looking at their stats, Ike Irish, what a name! Their outfielder.
That's it's a really cool name. He's
in the 3-hole. He's batting .356, slugging .635. He's got 7 homers, quite a few runs and RBIs as well. So Ike Irish, watch out for him this weekend.
Ike Irish and Cooper McMurray are their top 2 hitters, and both of them are from the left side. So Anderson's got at least that going for him today.
Sure.
Hey, what do you have to win a championship, Max? You got to have there's 2 things I think that are as important as anything. Number 1, you got to have an ace, and number 2, you got to be able to beat aces. Friday night against Missouri, you won that game. Friday night against Texas, you won that game. Friday night against Mississippi State, you won that game. Friday night against Oklahoma, probably the best or the highest prospect going into the season on the mound for Oklahoma, you won that game. Win your Friday night games. There's going to be some Saturdays and Sundays where it gets away from you, but best on best, if you're winning those games, you got to you got a shot there.
Yeah, certainly. I would think the most memorable game, the most memorable game from the 2023 World Series to me was LSU Wake Forest when you had.
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, you had Louder and Skeens.
Right. I mean, that was the exact scenario you're talking about. And granted, LSU didn't hit Louder, but you won the game when all was said and done. So that's the games that differentiate the College World Series teams. You have to win at least one of those games at some point. LSU even dropped a game in that whole trip, but it came down to that one game. And so you're absolutely right. It's going to come down to best on best at some point in this playoff.
That's the best pitched game I've ever seen at the College World Series, and I've been there 15 times. It's the second best game I've ever seen, period. The Warren Morris game stands alone, but that was next. I mean, those two guys both got to the big leagues quickly, both having a lot of success. Skeens obviously more, but Louder's been plenty good too. Tommy White hits a home run to walk it off. If that game would have been for the national championship, it would probably be 1A with Morris. But the Warren Morris game stands alone. That one was next. And you're right, best on best. Today's show brought to you by Coastal Capital Advisors, your full-service financial planners when it comes to retirement. No two situations are alike. So let Coastal Capital Advisors help you out along with your business partners, your tax professionals, a legal team to make sure that all your retirement goals are in place. And you know what? It's that special touch that they will hand with you in what has been a pretty volatile week, I would say, in the stock market. That's being kind. They can talk to you, let you know what's going on, kind of ease your mind, talk about strategies with you. Markets adjust, they adapt. And, I had a conversation with Phil earlier this week about what was going on, keeps you, very much in tune to where your portfolio is and what the best moves are. Contact Phil, 337-981-1376, or online. It's coastalcapitaladv.com. Advisory services provided by New Age Advisors, member FINRA, SIPC. We'll take a break here at Ruffino's Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
That Electric Man, BatonRouge.com. Electric work, Charlie, is not a do-it-yourself stuff at home. No. You got to call out a professional. You can call them out anytime. Yeah, they take calls 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Quality service for installations, lighting, electrical service, you name it, whatever you need. So need a little extra lighting for your office or for your home space, no problem. Guaranteed scheduled appointments. When it came to my house, it was right on the dot. Call ahead of time. 10 minutes later, they are there, insured, free inspections, and estimates. We're licensed professionals, so you get quality service when we're dealing with anything from child-proof outlets, electrical safety inspections, dedicated computer circuits, or electrical code updates. Electric Man, BatonRouge.com. That's 372-5356, 372-5356, or Electric Man, BatonRouge.com.
Live at lunch. We're here to examine things that get better with age, like this bottle of Chateau Lafite Rothschild, vintage 1877. Age can make things more valuable, like this Picasso from his blue period, 1904. And treasured, like this Roto-Rooter jingle, 1954.
Roto-Rooter jingle?
Just listen to it.
Oh, Roto-Rooter, that's the name. And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
A timeless melody.
Roto-Rooter?
The lithe arrangement.
But it's a clog-busting company.
Wrong there. Roto-Rooter has grown into more than a clog-busting company. They're North America's largest full-service plumber and drain cleaner. And when you need Roto-Rooter, remembering this jingle can be priceless.
Roto-Rooter.
For all of your plumbing and drainage solutions, call Roto-Rooter in Baton Rouge at 925-8710. That's 925-8710.
The Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny Restaurant Club. Sammy's Grill on Highland Road. A hometown favorite for tailgating and watching LSU games since 1988. Louisiana Lanyap on Perkins and Bluebonnet. Winner of the most 225's Best of Awards. Snow Seafood and Steak for over 50 years on Airline, Highway, and Highway 74 in Gonzales. Dozy Place for hand-cut steaks on Government Street and Mid-City. Louis Cafe, a Baton Rouge landmark since 1941. Just outside the north gates of LSU. Fin Bomb, sushi, burrito, poke, ramen at Burbank and Lee. And Phil's Oyster Bar since 1950 on Government Street to now in the South Downs Shopping Center.
Workbox can handle all of your movable storage needs, commercial and residential. Our shipping containers come in various sizes, 8x8, 8x10, 8x20, or even 8x40 feet. Not just one size. These units can be customized for any use. Custom lunchrooms, offices, work sites for plumbers or welders, dual purpose, part office, part storage, climate control, shelving, lighting, using different materials, whatever you need. Give my buddy Martin Padiella Workbox a call at 343-4886, 343-4886, and workboxllc.com. Sammy's Grill on Highland Road since 1988. A hometown favorite for tailgating and watching LSU games in a casual atmosphere with the friendliest service. Right now, we're boiling crawfish 7 days a week, Monday through Friday. First batch comes out at 5 p.m., weekends at noon. Sammy serves a wide mix of authentic Louisiana food prepared to order with the best ingredients available. Fresh Louisiana seafood, Cajun favorites, burgers, and po' boys, all built from scratch. Our kids' menu and popular appetizers are sure to please the pickiest of eaters. Sammy's Grill on Highland Road, near Starring since 1988. Congratulations are in order for one of my favorite places to eat. Snow Seafood and Steaks, celebrating its 50th anniversary. That's right, since 1971, Snow's has been serving a wide assortment of menu items to please everyone. Steaks, seafood, gumbo, homemade soups, salads, specialty cocktails, great wine selection, and oh yes, the best white chocolate bread pudding that you'll find anywhere. It's the total dining experience. Happy 50th anniversary to my friends at Snow's Seafood and Steak, Airline Highway to Highway 74 in Gonzales. By now, you know that we do our show every other Tuesday at the Crown Town Room at Dozy Place. The Crown Town Room is ideal for larger groups, or if you just want to watch the game on one of our 3 large TVs. The tamales are the most popular appetizer, but don't forget the seared tuna with the sriracha glaze for the perfect blend of sweet and spicy. You can't go wrong also with the flash fried oysters or the shrimp. The porterhouse is the perfect steak to share. Strip on one side, filet on the other, prepared at different temps if you like, bone in to maximize flavor. Dozy Place on Government Street, just off Acadian in the heart of Mid-City.
This is Charles Haniger for Total Maintenance. Now is the time to get your AC cleaned and checked before those sweltering temperatures arrive. Ensure your unit is performing at max efficiency. Lower your monthly bills and prolong the life of your central air conditioner. Right now, mention my name or Jimmy Ott and get $100 off that service. Down from $179 to $79. Call Total Maintenance for generators, electricity, and plumbing issues. In Baton Rouge, 480-1000, and in New Orleans, call 841-3300. Service today, every day at Total Maintenance.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Ruffino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Scotty Scheffler has teed off for his second round at the Masters. Get you an update on what's going on. Justin Rose got a birdie at 16 to move back to 9 under, but he's got a long par putt at 17 to maintain. I say a long par putt. How 15 feet?
15 feet, I'm guessing. Yeah.
All right. Not long, but no gimme either. Bryson DeChambeau just narrowly avoided going in the water. In fact, you thought on first glance he was in the water.
Yeah, I'm just tracking on the leaderboard, and it looked like it.
Imagine if they put
water.
this on television, huh?
Yeah, they have the feature group coverage isn't bad. That's what I'm kind of following, but yeah, it's a little annoying.
DeChambeau 2 strokes back at 7 under. Matt McCarty of the first page of the leaderboard is the first guy in the clubhouse. He finishes 68 today. One of the more interesting rounds that you'll see. Opened up double bogey, and then from 6 to 17 went on a birdie binge in 12 holes. He had 8 birdies. He finished with a bogey at 18, so he is 5 under par for the tournament, and he is done for the day. Sam Burns. And boy, as soon as I said that, no, he's okay. I thought he had bogeyed number 10, but he's par number 10. Very solid front 9 for Sam. Max, he 3 birdies and no bogeys on the front 9. He's 2 under par, 7 strokes off the lead, but in a very crowded group at 16th place right now at 2 under par. He's playing better than we thought. Huh?
I did not expect this. I'm very, very pleased with Sam Burns. We'll see if he can get it home, but I was worried about him even making the weekend just because he hasn't had the best of major performances, and he didn't come in with great form. But if there is one major that he's done better at, it's probably this one. So I'm maybe not surprised he's making the cut, but at the very least, I am surprised he's well under par at this point, 2 under par, 3 under for the day. And we'll see if he can put himself in a position to where maybe he can make a big move tomorrow.
Now, you've been watching the weather there. You think that the wind is going to be a lot more challenging for the afternoon groups than the morning groups?
It just visually, it seems to be picking up, and that was sort of the forecast, and that would concern me a little bit with just making these greens even firmer than they already are. But I don't think it'll play massively more difficult this afternoon than it did this morning, but it just might be a slight more challenging on certain holes where the wind is blowing a certain direction.
So they can't I know the answer to this. This is sort of a joke. They can't go out and water the greens, right, in the middle of the round if they get dried out.
We've seen it before. U.S. Opens, they'll hand water them, so they could do that. I'm sure they have the capabilities.
But
at Augusta,
no, they don't water the greens. They do, however, allow you to relieve yourself in Rays Creek, which I would have never. Just kind of setting that joke
Yeah.
up. I never would have figured. I saw this yesterday.
We didn't see the actual. There's no video.
I
of
didn't
it.
see that.
Yeah,
okay, I saw
thankfully.
the story. Thank you for clarifying there. I know I saw the story, and I thought this was something that would have been in the Onion, right? That this is a joke, because at Augusta they don't let you call the spectators fans. They have to be called patrons. You can't call it the rough. You have to call it the second cut. We found out a couple of days ago they were fussing at Rabelais because he said back nine or backside instead of second nine. Okay, but apparently you can go take a leak in Rays Creek and not face any ramifications.
I'm surprised. I was worried, they might disappear him or something, but thankfully he's on the grounds and playing today.
This is a rookie out of Arizona State.
Yeah,
right?
amateur Jose Luis Ballester, who is actually the favorite to be low amateur. He's playing with Scotty's group. So it's not like he was just playing on some small group that nobody was following along.
And Justin Thomas is on the green, and it's taken a little longer. I don't remember exactly what was going on, but he's like, I got to go. And so he sneaks behind wherever they are, and he goes and relieves himself in Rays Creek. This looks like a story out of the Onion. Right?
It does.
I couldn't believe this would happen. So my wife asked me, she goes, what'd they do with the guy? And I'm like, that was real. I thought it was fake. I thought it was just one of these lampoon stories. Like, if they're as strict as they are, you can't run, okay, anywhere on the grounds. You can't take your cell phone most of the places. I figure as soon as I found out that this was real, I'm like, they're going to have this guy lined up and shot.
Yeah,
there's going to be a firing squad somewhere. They're going to ban him from the state of Georgia. Forget about the grounds. They're just going to. You can't even go in the Eastern Time Zone anymore.
I would imagine he got a bit of a talking to from Masters officials. It's interesting. He said he would kind of duck off and nobody would notice. Well, when he ended up coming out from relieving himself, some of the patrons were giving him an ovation. So they're clearly seen it. It's quite remarkable that this happened. And look, Spanish he's from Spain. It's his second language, so maybe he just didn't quite understand the question fully. But he was asked about it after, and he basically said, if I had to do it again, I'd do it again. So he doubled down.
I'm sure it was an emergency situation, but.
And they have a bathroom on that hole. He wasn't really aware.
As a rookie, didn't know that there was a bath. I mean, we've all been in that situation where you have to go really bad, and there's maybe no facilities around. And it's an awful feeling. Everybody's been there at least once, but not at the Masters. I mean, this happens at Mardi Gras when you can't get in somewhere because it's a 3-drink minimum to use the bathroom. But this doesn't happen at Augusta.
Yeah, normally when you take relief in golf, you're getting a drop.
This has got a whole new meaning to that. I really can't believe it. I mean, this is like bringing an air horn to Wimbledon. You're going to be banned from the tournament. If he would have won the tournament, they said, okay, you get no green jacket because you peed in Rays Creek. Borderline sacrilegious over there.
He's a good player. He shot 4 over yesterday. We'll see. Yeah, had a rough start and kind of righted the ship. So I don't know. We'll see if he can make the weekend. He's parred the first hole along with Scotty Scheffler, who just missed a birdie putt on one. So we'll monitor the situation, but just not too closely, because if he goes back in the trees, just
he's playing in the same group with Scheffler, and Justin Thomas. So what is worse, getting caught peeing in Rays Creek or getting arrested while you're trying to drive your courtesy car into Valhalla?
Well, one's unlucky and one's just on you. I think it's. Yeah, I think it was unlucky. That's my opinion. I don't want the Louisville Police Department coming after me, but
never saw the pants.
No, well, no.
Never
No,
saw
I don't
the
think so.
the-
We saw a picture of the guy's leg, and poor guy.
fabricated. Fabricated completely. Here at Ruffino's, again, the Friday lunch specials include the crawfish arancini and the crispy Brussels sprouts, veal piccata, pan-seared halibut, and the Ruffino's Old Elk, your beverage feature today. Back to wrap it up here at Ruffino's on Highland Road, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
What's happening, y'all? If you're looking for something to do right now, why don't you get out of your car? It is a stunningly gorgeous spring.
Monday.
Whenever I'm ready.
Well, Queen?
Potentially.
We think we're the Queen on Monday, but
I mean, it sounds right. Y'all usually are at the Queen.
That sounds right, huh? Yeah.
Might
I know we're
sound
not
right.
at Big Mike's, and we're not.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
The Queen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Say when you're ready.
All right, I'm ready. He's rolling.
This is Charles Handegraaff. Join us for the Monday edition of Live at Lunch from the Queen Casino downtown Baton Rouge. Jimmy Ott is back from vacation. The Masters is in the books, and we're halfway home in SEC baseball. Live at Lunch, 11 a.m. Monday on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
In-and-out destinations when grabbing a quick workday lunch or visiting local attractions on the weekend. Town Square Pizza, you guessed it, Square Pizzas are consistently flavored and cooked perfectly every single time. It's as simple as that. Town Square Pizza, downtown next to Jolie Pearl.
Have you been arrested or even issued a traffic ticket? Everyone makes mistakes. Hi, I'm Dana Brown from the law offices of O.C. Brown. If you find yourself in an unfortunate situation with the law, call us today, and we can help you resolve your problem. Whether it's just a traffic matter or something more serious, no criminal matter is too big or too small for us to aggressively and effectively represent you. Before making any decisions, call us at 225-343-1111 for your free consultation. You can also visit us at ocbrown.com. The law offices of O.C. Brown, your law firm for a lifetime.
The new location of Los Reyes Mexican Grill on Wesley across from Mike Anderson's. Man, the place looks great. Lots of indoor and outdoor seating options with plenty of big TVs to watch all your favorite games. All of the traditional Mexican cuisine with a great happy hour, 2:30 to 6:30, 7 days a week. Plus $5 margaritas all day, all night on Wednesdays. Great spot to bring the baseball team in between games, just 5 minutes north of Traction and 5 minutes south of LSU. Los Reyes Mexican Grill, 1072 West Lee, near Nicholson.
When it comes to celebrating life, there's no better place than Ruffino's. With locations in Baton Rouge and Lafayette, Ruffino's is a steak, seafood, and Italian-inspired restaurant that focuses on the celebration of life, regardless of the occasion. Whether it's the food they serve or the service they provide, their goal is to ensure a remarkable experience for their guests that is always remembered. To view our menu, visit ruffinosrestaurant.com. Ruffino's, where Louisiana comes to celebrate life.
Now, everybody's been to Louis Cafe by campus. Heck, it's been around since over 80 years now. We're still doing delicious omelets like the Mitchell, cheesy grits, Big Cheesy Lou, and those Louis' original Cajun hash browns. We now offer a pickup window. Just call in your order at 346-8221. Give us 15 or 20 minutes, and we'll have it ready for you. Our hours are now 6:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m., 7 days a week. So next time you visit campus, make it a point to stop by and visit an old friend. Louis Cafe, just outside the north gates of LSU.
This is Charles Handegraaff for Coastal Capital Advisors, your full-service financial planners. When it comes to retirement, there are no two situations alike. So Coastal Capital Advisors will work with you, your business partners, your legal team, and tax professionals to make sure those goals are achieved. Coastal Capital Advisors will work for you. I know, because they work for me. For more information, contact Philip Fontenot and his great staff at 337-981-1376 or online at coastalcapitaladv.com. Advisory services provided by New Age Advisors, LLC, doing business as Coastal Capital Advisors as a registered investment advisor. Securities offered through New Edge Securities, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Ruffino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
And we welcome you back here at Ruffino's. Always enjoy our time over here.
Fridays for, better part of 15 years here at Ruffino's. We're also brought to you by Total Maintenance. Total Maintenance. Generators, electricity, AC and heating, plumbing, total maintenance, your one-stop service shop for all of these needs. Since 1980, their slogan has been service today, every day. You get service today when you ask for it, so nobody's got to go to sleep uncomfortable. New Orleans and Baton Rouge area, both full-service staffs in both New Orleans and Baton Rouge. Authorized dealer for Carrier, American Standard, Daykin, and Ream AC units. Generators by Cummings and Generac. In Baton Rouge, call 480-1000. In New Orleans, 841-3300. And right now, if you mention the show, Jimmy's name, my name, Max's name, live at lunch, you get $100 off of your AC inspection. That's at Total Maintenance. A couple things as we wrap up here. Rory McIlroy with an eagle to move to 5 under par. He's 3 off the lead of Justin Rose, who did miss that 15-foot par putt at 17. He's going to 18 with a one-stroke lead over Bryson DeChambeau, and a very, very crowded leaderboard. Scotty Scheffler's on the golf course right now, but McIlroy into the top 5. We got Bryson DeChambeau a shot back. We got Ludwig Aberg at 4 under par, 4 shots back. Same thing with Shane Lowry, Victor Hovland lurking right outside the top 10. So going to be a fun weekend of golf at Augusta.
Yeah, I may have to eat my words on Rory. I was kind of victory lapping it already after that rough finish yesterday. He's still got to go through 15 and 17, which he double bogeyed yesterday. But yeah, tremendous bogey free so far through 13, 5 under par. I can't say I really expected this. I'm sure if he gets in the mix by Sunday, he'll find a way to lose it. But yeah, I was kind of victory lapping already, as if it was over for him. And here he is, third choice at plus 430 right now.
This is what Jack Nicklaus said about Rory McIlroy. He said the discipline is what Rory has lacked, in my opinion. This is Jack Nicklaus, who doesn't get too boisterous with his comments. He's got all the shots. He's got all the game. He certainly has talented anybody in the game. But if you go back and see his history the last few years, he gets to a place a lot of times, and then a 7 or an 8 pops up, and that keeps him from getting where he wants to go. And with understatement of the century, Jack Nicklaus knows a little bit about Augusta, and he knows a little bit about what it takes to win a major, because he won more than anybody that's ever picked up a golf club. And he's right. McIlroy was right there, going to be right there, a couple of shots off the lead yesterday, and there's a 7.
He's
at
played
number 15.
a little too aggressive, I think, in his career. There are whole locations where they kind of force you to go at the pins, but there are others in which you have slopes to kind of play to just get it on the green or whatever, and they're kind of sucker pins, as they're known in golf, where they're tempting you to go right at them, and you're not supposed to. And that's been a bit of a challenge for him, but he's mentioned that he's learned from that over time, and we'll see if that's the case. But he's got a long way to go still, but he's off to a tremendous second round, and we'll see if he can get in the clubhouse bogey-free.
Can I tell a little story on you before we wrap up today? Everybody's been called into work, right? Something happens. There's an emergency at work. Something happens. Maybe there's a maintenance issue, or some client needs something, or whatever. We were famously called in to do a show on the spot the night Les Miles got fired. They were just like, "All right, come in." Boom. We just opened up the phone lines. We did that. You get called into work whenever something happens in Cleveland.
Oh, yes.
Joe Flacco got you out of bed earlier than you wanted to this morning.
Yes. Joe Flacco, got to do some breaking coverage on that. The Cleveland really loves Joe Flacco. The one time he was there, he won Comeback Player of the Year. So even though he's 40 years old at this point, you'd think this is kind of a low-key move. But it does signal to me, I kind of expected either Joe Flacco to come back to Cleveland, or that they would try to trade for Kirk Cousins. There was a rumor that he was going to get brought there if Atlanta decided to cut him before that deadline. They guaranteed that money. So there was still a thought that they would maybe move for Kirk Cousins. At this point, it seems unlikely. So that
were they planning on paying for him, or were they planning on making Atlanta pay for him?
I think Atlanta was going to have to pay for some of it, at least,
because if I got to pay for Kirk Cousins or pay for Joe Flacco, I'd rather pay for Joe Flacco. But if Cousins is the better player at this point, at least in my opinion, but not at any cost. So if Atlanta's picking up the freight, I'd have rather had Cousins. But how bad? And look, I like Joe Flacco. I think he's had a good career. I don't think he's ever been a top 5 quarterback in the game, but I think he's been a very good quarterback for a long time.
if you're in Cleveland and you are, did you use the word excited?
They like Joe Flacco. They like
If
him.
you are excited about a 40-year-old Joe Flacco coming back to quarterback your team, just how bad has the quarterbacking been on your team?
Well, right now, you got to think of who they have. They have Kenny Pickett as their only real quarterback
He's better
on
than
their
Kenny
roster.
Pickett. At
So
40 years old, he is better than Kenny
I
Pickett.
think so. The other move they're going to have left is they're going to use that they have the first pick in the second round, the number 33. Whether they stay there or maybe move up into the first round
Tyler
to get
Slug?
a Jalen Milroe, a Tyler Shuck.
Shug. I keep saying Slug. Shug.
Maybe Jackson Dart if he falls.
He's
maybe
no
they
slug.
they trade up to 15 or something to get him. So maybe they trade up to get Shador and partner him with Travis Hunter. We'll see. But I'm pretty sure with that second pick, their second, not the second overall pick, but their second pick at 33, they will either stay there or move up to get that third quarterback. I don't think it's going to be Kirk Cousins at this point.
If you're excited about a 40-year-old Joe Flacco coming to quarterback your team, things have gone terribly wrong.
He's elite, Charlie. Come on.
Things have gone terribly wrong for your quarterback. And just how downtrodden do you have to be about what Deshaun Watson has done to the franchise or the owners, if you'd rather blame it on the Haslams, than
30.
if that's what you're banking on.
Roy's in the woods. We might have jinxed him already. He's in the woods right now.
Okay,
we'll see if he makes
We're
par.
done. Come on out and see us here at Ruffino's as we wrap up the show. For Jordan Kitchens back in the studio, for Max Gotro, I'm Charles Hanniger saying thank you and good afternoon. Stay tuned for Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Running.
All right, you guys have a good weekend.
Bank.